everyone, this is Barb with Lost and Floss. It's a beautiful day in northwest Wisconsin, out on the deck, enjoying the beautiful weather. It's May, let's see, 23, 24, May 25th. I guess I could have just looked at my watch, but I didn't. This is Lost and Floss, a video primarily about cross stitch and a few other things thrown in. And this is video 89. So moving along. Before I go any further, I wanted to announce the winner of the Prairie Schooler 2023 Santa chart giveaway. And that will go to Patty Williams 5795. So Patty, if you could please either private message me on Instagram or else send me an email to lostinfloss2, the number 2, at gmail.com with your address. I'll get it out to you right away. And then from the last subscriber giveaway, the person who won the rabbit and the rose did not claim the prize. And so we're going to do a speed round for that one. I've done it this way in the past. And what you just need to do, the bugs are bad out here. I'll see how long I last. I might be moving inside. But anyways, if you'd like to be entered into the drawing for the rabbit and the rose chart, just email me at same email address, lostinfloss2 at gmail.com. And by doing that, I'll have your email address, and I'm going to pick a winner for that one within the next day or two. And so I'll, as I've done in the past, I've given the person that's the winner maybe a day to respond and send me their address. And if that doesn't happen, I'll go on to the next person. So it's a way of ensuring that these charts don't sit on in my giveaway pile for too long. So like to share them and get them out to someone else who would like to stitch it. Lots going on here. I really thought I'd be back sooner, but we've had a lot going on. Just I think it was just prior to Easter when I last recorded. And yeah, just we had we had hail damage to our house, our regular house, and so we had the siding all replaced on that. And while we were at it, had some new windows put in. So it seemed like that was a major undertaking, just getting things cleared out and ready for that. But we had to do a little bit of painting on the garage windows and planter boxes and that sort of thing. But all we have left now, we need to get new storm doors and paint the front door and maybe a new back door. So, all in time. You know how those projects go. But as mentioned, it was right around Easter. I think I was baking my Easter lamb cake. And so I will put a picture of the cake and this year's theme at the end. And so I hope that you guys like what I did this year. So I guess we'll save some chit chat for the end. As always, I can get off on a tangent and start to ramble. So let's just jump right into what I've been stitching on. And I'm going to show you also my quilt I want to get back to at the very end, and maybe things that I want to start stitching. it seems like, yeah, I don't have any finishing, and I'll show you why. My machine really was not cooperating. Yeah. Like, I got the top, it was all the bobbin, because the top isn't awful, but I took out the bobbin case and vacuumed and blew air into that and tried as best as I could. And then I realized I really hadn't had my machine in for quite some time for a professional cleaning, and so I just thought, bite the bullet, now's the time. And I had seen someone on the news like a number of years ago, and I couldn't believe I knew how to figure out where he was located, and just a little one-person shop. And so I do like to support those kind of businesses when I can. So anyways, my machine went off to be cleaned up and hopefully fixed, not with too many issues. And I already got a call that it's ready to pick up when I get back. So that will be awesome, because then perhaps I can get those things finished. So I'm just going to pull out some random things here. I have been stitching on this one from JBW, French Country Flower Basket. And I ran out of, oh, I have this, I have it backwards. Oh, that'd be lovely. But anyways, this is the chart. It's just such a sweet, pretty little stitch. And I'm using a combination. I've just got a scrap piece of linen here. I believe it's 36 count. But I've got a pretty good start on it. I should just finish it up one night. And true to my form, I do not have a lot of margins on this one. So I'm sure I'll figure it out, but I'd like to get going on that. And in case anyone's wondering, we have had a bear sighting this year, but only on the trail cam, not live. So we haven't been putting any bird seed out or any of that sort of thing, because you don't want to tempt the little guy. He looks like a younger bear. And then we've had like a pair of geese that have been hanging around, which they're kind of messy. So like I was chasing after them, like trying to get them to take flight and move on to somewhere else, which I was successful. But then my husband came in yesterday and said that there was a badger in the area that the geese had been hanging out. So I'm like, I guess the geese picked a good spot, because I'm not going to mess with anything that's near a badger hole. I've been working on a Cup of Christmas Cheer Santa mug, which is a freebie from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. And I'm just stitching this on a piece of 32 count vintage Sahara by Zweigert with the call for flosses. And this is another one I should just finish up. I have mentioned before that I want to do probably like a flat fold and put him next to my couple of vintage Santa mugs that I have at Christmas time, of course. This one I bought last year at Country Sampler. It's by Artful Offerings, and it's Joyeux Noël. And it just reminded me of a old-fashioned kitchen towel. I loved everything about it. I'm stitching this 1/1 with the called for colors on, let's see, 36 count pie crust by SPP. It looks like really grungy, which is the look that I really wanted for this. So love that. And I also have gotten quite a bit done on Christmas garden, which was something Leanne had started. She was maybe halfway done. And moving along pretty well on this. So I don't have a board big enough, but not too much more. She had, I think, up to where the birds, that central motif and all the border, and I've made some progress since then. I don't know how many times I've said I want to get this done for Christmas. We'll see if that happens. Oh no. I'm out on the deck and lost some floss. Lost some floss for Lost and Floss. Oh man. So I'll keep plugging away at that, but I'm sure most of you know what this chart is. But I'll show it anyways in case we have some newbies. That was me at one point in time. It's like you assume everyone knows what you're talking about, but that is not always the case. Let's see. Okay. This is Home for the Holidays book by Blackbird Design, and this is Christmas Garden. Just an awesome, awesome piece. This is my new system. So I've gotten better since I don't have a great memory. What I've done is I've printed up a little sheet to help me. Just with the chart, the designer, about the fabric, and then I'll list any changes and my start and finish date. Have to look up some of that information from my book, but this is Lady Liberty by Blackbird Design. It's a pretty little patriotic pin keep. And I've got the top on it mostly done. And again, I'm going to look up what fabric I used on this. I have it written in my other journal, as well as the start date, because it's been a while. I've made some good progress on Plum Street Samplers, this Happy Morning. This is the vintage version. And I bought this as a kit from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. And this house is no joke. Or barn, or whatever it is. I probably say that every time. But it's just a lot of fill work right now on that main part. And I should just keep going some night. But I try to save this for when I'm stitching with others so that I don't have to pay attention or count or even look at what colors to use and that sort of thing. And then this next one is American Primitives by Teresa Colgate. And I kind of taken a different approach. I'm stitching it 1/2 on 36 count Aztec Red by Weeks. And I'm not going to do, I don't know what I'm all going to do. I don't even know if that I'm going to do the arch or whatever. I might just pretty well call it done sooner than later. But I've got like the main guy done, and we'll probably work on putting some grass in next, that sort of thing. And then this one is the Scarlet House, Strawberry House pin keep. And I'm just using a piece of 36 count scrap that I had with mostly called for colors. I've almost got that house done. So I got bored, and when I did the chimney, I started doing the design at the bottom. It's getting there. Oh, and then, hey, I need an opinion. So I know last time I showed the stocking. It kind of got cut off because I think, I was waiting for a phone call from my friend, and then I had to leave then. And so I never showed it slowly again. So this is for my grandson, Preston. And I'm having a really hard time figuring out what kind of backing fabric to use. I've bought 2 different ones. I don't want anything, I want something more vintagey and classic. I did find this. It's probably going to look crazy, crazy bright in the sunlight. But I thought this really picked up like the color of the reindeer. Maybe I should put it on the reindeer side. So I need your opinion. What do you think? Should I keep looking, or do you think that'll be okay? I mean, it doesn't show. It's on the back, and it's on the back side and the inside of the stocking. But it did add a little bit of beading and that sort of thing onto him. But I'm glad this one is done. And I guess I'll show this now. So I've numerous times mentioned that my son-in-law wanted me to stitch him a Christmas stocking because he had one from his childhood that was probably, I don't know, 4 feet long, like a skinny knit one. And so he had asked me quite a while ago. He's like, I'm in no hurry, but would you please stitch one for me? And of course I said yes. Then I had seen this one stocking pattern that was a discontinued gold collection dimensions, and I had been kind of watching it on eBay. I just love this one. So the complete kit was offered, and it hasn't been opened at all until everything's there. And so I was looking at it, and really, I mean, it was obviously more expensive than the modern ones, but when I thought about how much I liked this one, and the price was maybe $30 more, so I jumped and I bought it. And then right before I purchased it, though, I saw one that I thought was this one being sold on Walmart.com, and so I put a offer in on that one. And well, I guess it's not eBay, so you're just buying it. And then when I looked closely at it, I don't know if they have permission from the original design to do a knockoff, but like the fabric was a higher count and the detail just was not there. I'll maybe put a picture at the end so you can see what I'm talking about. But luckily I realized that the night that I had placed my order so I could cancel it, and then I ordered this one. But the other thing, so when I was looking, I also liked this one. And so I thought that I would get it since it was a really good price. It's not a gold, but it is a dimensions. And it's on 14 count. But I also thought that was very cute. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the rooftop Santa. But this one I'll eventually do too. I showed both pictures to my son-in-law, and he's like, I'm fine with either one. He was trying to decide, and then I said, well, I'll just surprise you. I've got a tiny little start on the Prairie Schooler R's for Rabbit. This is one of those things that I've wanted to stitch forever. And I think I'm just stitching this on a piece of 36 count Lakeside Luna. And I've got a tiny little start on it, but I'm thinking the colors kind of remind me a little bit of the ink circles after the roses with the greens and the burgundies. So I would like to get a little bit more of a start on this before I put it away for the year. Okay, then I made some progress on 2006 Prairie Schooler Santa, and I'm stitching these 1/2 with mostly called for colors on 1/1 mostly called for colors on 24 count vintage country mocha. So they're tiny. And it was my goal to take these along and start them every time I took a little trip. And so we did a sib, we call it sibs and nibs, because nibbling is the word for nieces and nephews. That's comparable to saying siblings, which I learned from my sister. Well, anyways, we went to Chicago because we had not visited one of our nieces due to the pandemic when she was in college. And so I think that we had 5 out of 6 siblings and a couple of the nieces and the graduate as well as her 2 siblings. And so we had a nice group and did a lot of walking and eating and took the train down, which was fun. Although there was one car, it was delayed because they were trying to get the air working in the one car. It was a beautiful weekend in April. And so we had to go way to the back in more of the cars with the tables. And so then the conductor guy comes around and he asked my brother if he could move his suitcase because they had more people in the one car with broken air conditioning that needed to move back. And so he said sure. So the conductor porter guy moves the suitcases. Well, the train starts up, and all of a sudden I look at my brother and he's like sprinting into the next car. Well, here both suitcases, when we took off, they were wheeled suitcases and just started like flying down the aisle. So he recovered those, and yeah, we had a really nice time. Other than it's interesting when a 24, 25-year-old plans your itinerary. It's like I kept getting on my watch like loud environment notices. It was, yeah, a lot of loud places, but good food. We went to some, like, I don't know what it was even called, a tiki bar place where we had, like, I don't know, you know, those fancy expensive drinks that come in crazy glasses. Mine was like a totem pole type thing, and I didn't really care for the taste, so I just asked for a small tall glass of ice, and I kept like pouring it into the extra glass. And then like a guy came by, he wasn't our waiter, and he's like, "Can I take that for you?" And I said, "No, I'm still finishing it up." And he's like, "Oh, let me take it and get it out of your way." And I'm like, "No, you know, I'm using the ice from that, and there's still some left in there." And he just grabs it and takes off with it. And my siblings were laughing because they were like, "We heard you distinctly say no twice." And as he's grabbing, he's like, "We can bring you some more ice." Well, of course they never did. And later on, my sister was looking at the menu, and I guess they sell the glasses for like $60. So she's like, maybe he thought you were gonna steal it or something. I don't know. But oh yeah, so we laughed about that, and shady characters. But we went to Second City and saw a performance there, which was fun, and brunch the next morning, and botanical gardens. And what else did we do? The historical museum, I think. So it was a fun weekend, and yeah, the weather cooperated. On Sunday it was rainy, but we just were doing brunch and going home, so that didn't really matter too much. But anyways, my point was, I took along all my stitching stuff. I was going to start this year's 2023 Snowy Night Santa, and I forgot my May guys, and I'm like, no, there's no way that I'm seeing this count. But then when I woke up the next morning, I'm like, oh my, I had all my stitching stuff out in the bed, and I look, and there's my little really pointy sharp scissors that I slept right on top of. So it's a good thing I didn't get stabbed anywhere. I'm still plugging around or along on the Prairie Schooler months. This one is May. And I told myself that I would not start anymore until I had the 3 done that I had currently started. So one I finished, and this one I've got quite a good start. So even if I have to put this away, I won't have that much more to go on it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here's the Needlework by Kathy Barrick. I think if I just get through that spool, I'll be in good shape. I'm doing this on 40 count vintage country mocha, and that's all it looks like. I hope that I can get this wrapped up fairly soon. Well, no, that border's going to take me forever, but I think at least if I get the thread part done, I'll feel better. And then this is a little one I just started in April. Colonial Blooms by the Scarlet House. I'm doing the colors on the light one, which are a little bit more vivid. And I'm stitching this on Dusk, 32 count by Picture This Plus, and I'm stitching 2/2. But I like how the colors are popping on that. not quite black, but so this one is Liberty House by Brenda Gervais. I'm stitching it on Dapple, 36 count, 1/2. That's by Picture This Plus. A pretty blue-gray. And not sure, I might pull out the window colors. I have some in there. Not sure if that really speaks to me, but it's fairly muted. And I think I just want to finish it up. And in case you don't know which one I'm talking about, it's this one. I think the called for was 40 count, which, you know, would have made it a little bit more vivid, but I like it so far. And then I have been working on All Joys for Thine, Blackbird design. I think I'm stitching this on the called for, which is Picture This Plus Heartland. And this was the one I started for Leanne's Legacy year 2. So I've completely finished year 1 and year 3, but year 2 is kind of lacking. I made some counting errors, so I've been trying to just go from the border, but kind of going all over the place. But I like working on this one now that I've gotten a little bit more of a start on it. And I hope to have this finished before this year's start, which I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but that will be at the end of August. So it's a beautiful chart, and I really like that one. I did have one finish. This was from the Blackbird Designs Souvenir a Summer book, which I highly recommend. I could stitch almost any of these. And this one is Summer Jubilee. And I know I have the color written down somewhere, but I have to dig it out and put it with the chart. But it's really subtle and I do like it. So I need to find a frame. I had bought this Venice Hall 1824 by Heartstring Samplery, a country sampler, and those colors, they speak to me. Those are my colors, so I'm hoping to maybe dive into that one. I'd like to stitch this little bluebird out my window. Another one is Waxing Moon Designs Patriotic House Trio. And I might just whip out this one. The first Robin of Spring. I mean, we're kind of past that point in the season, but I think it'd be a quick stitch and kind of nice to have at this time of year. Like, I've taken down my Easter stuff and even some of my early spring stuff, and did start hauling out some of my patriotic stuff I like to keep out for summer. Then this Be Kind Stacy Nash Primitives is another one I really like. And I have a piece of, I think it's bee's knees, 36 count that I'm going to be stitching it on. My new format. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep my finishes in a 3-ring binder, and the page that I showed earlier, I just was doing by freehand and with that same information. And then what I'm doing is taking a picture of the finish and just stapling that onto the page. And like for freebie, I just stapled the freebie on the back because I thought, well, then that way if somebody asks me about it, I'll have that info right there. So yeah, I'm feeling optimistic that I'll be able to answer better when people reach out to me and ask for, you know, what did you use or that sort of thing. What else do I have here? Oh, Leanne had this one kitted up, and I thought I should just stitch it quick because it has some fancy flosses in there. Farmhouse Christmas Grandma's Quilt. And just make a little pillow out of it. So, although I have plenty of whips, and I just pulled a little piece of 30 count portobello linen. I think that would be a pretty neutral for it. And I don't know where. Oh, this is the baby. I do want to start Annie B's pears, and I've picked out several colors that I'm thinking of, and yeah, I hope to start on those. And then I've loved this Smith Sampler's Scarlet House. Got fly on the hand. All the pretty colored flosses. And I saw it stitched on my favorite, which is Vintage Meadow Rue. And now that I'm made peace with 40 count in Lakeside, I think this is what I'm going to use. Can you see it? So that looks like something I want to start now. So it might happen. Let's see, what else do we have going on? I talked about that I'll put a picture of the lamb cake at the end. Oh, I was trying to clean. I have tile floor going through my whole kitchen, laundry room, hallway, bathroom, powder room, hallway, foyer. And so I tried numerous products, and it's gotten much better, but like the first day I leaned on this hand so much while I was scrubbing with this hand that this hand I couldn't even stitch for a couple days. It was all like numb, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not good. So the next day I learned to rather lean on the bar stool at our kitchen breakfast bar, and on the bottom rung, and then I wasn't putting pressure on my wrist, but I'm like, oh, that was not good. And then along with that, had a little shower for one of my friends. Just, I think there are 8 of us. Her daughter has a destination wedding, so we won't be attending, but wanted to celebrate a little bit with her. And then another friend's son, who is a friend of my son's, and the parents are good friends, we hosted with another couple shower for them. That was last weekend, and my friend has a new house, and I said, well, if you do the shower at your house, I'll do the food. So, and there were a few things other people made, which was very helpful, but it was a lot of cooking, and I greatly overestimated like how much people were going to eat. And I always like to try new recipes, and so had a lot of different sliders and dips and stuffed mushrooms, and of course, numerous desserts. I feel like you have to have at least 3 desserts at a party with that many people, but it turned out to be more like 5 or 6 maybe, I don't know. So I was kind of glad when that was all over with. And then that same weekend, our grandson, we celebrated both his first communion and his birthday, and it was my daughter's birthday, so they had a party after the communion at their house, and it was great to get together. Along with it, we were lucky enough to be invited to my daughter's in-laws for Mother's Day, which was awesome. And my daughter's sister-in-law was so cute. She had gotten like little fancy chocolates for the 3 moms, and so included me in that, and had the kids. She had picked up little houses that she had the kids write words to describe us on, and you can tell she's a teacher, but that was so sweet of her. And then just like lots of yard work, of course, at this time of year. I planted some flowers up here today, early in the morning. And at home, I had planted a bunch of bulbs last fall, so those came up and looked awesome. And I went to a smaller nursery and got a lot of things to plant in my flower pots that are home and planter boxes, and put together a selection of herbs in an old metal wash bin that was my grandma's from up here. And we went to Miller's, and it was funny because you walk in and they have like one huge greenhouse of all different color geraniums that are just like stunning. And we walked in and I'm like, oh wow. And my husband started laughing because he's like, that's the commercial exactly. They say, wow. And I'm like, well, I fell for it. Didn't even know that. But yeah, so came home that day with lots of things to plant, and then, fill in with other things as you need things. I had saved some of my dahlia seeds from last year, so I planted them in a tray and have all sorts of little seedlings that I'll plant when I get home. So that's great. Had to move around the normal 80 bags of mulch and needed to actually get a few more. So I don't know how many it's going to be for a full yard worth this year, but we planted a new tree last year, so I need to extend one of the shrub areas out a little bit. So that's what I'll be working on when I get home. We had the kids 2 nights for an overnight. Can't even remember where their parents went anymore, but somewhere. And so, that's always fun. It's different now that they're older. We had the little 3-year-old one day while other kids were in school, and so we took him fishing just at a park not too far from our house. So we found that rather exciting. And he was so funny. My daughter was driving him to his last day of preschool last week, and they were talking about, how it was the last day. And he said, well, indeed, 3 school is done, not preschool, but 3 school was what he was calling it. But next year he'd go to 4 school. So I thought that was pretty funny. He's just has a lot of pizzazz in him. He's just a funny kid. So it's always fun to spend time with them. And we went and got some flowers planted at my daughter's house, and it's great to get them in, so you have like the 3 months to enjoy them, because that's about all you get in Wisconsin. Maybe into September. A lot of times they still look fairly decent if you kind of are cutting them back and keeping them in control. But it's just, you just never know what you're going to get. So, all right, well, I think haven't done too much shopping. Went to Lynn's one day, and I really didn't buy much. I didn't buy a single chart, which I was proud of myself. I bought some linen as one of the choices for the Annie B's pairs, and 2 skeins of floss. I'm like, oh, it's not my normal pattern, but I have some beautiful things that I want to stitch, and so I feel like I have to be more selective in what I purchase, because it's not going to be the last time I go shopping. So just kind of trying to keep it a little bit more controlled. It's fun seeing what everyone else buys, but I don't want to just have things sitting around at my house that I can't stitch. So yeah, I think I always laugh, wondering if other people have this problem. Like the one day I washed a pair of my jeans, and I air dried them because they're just the right length. I like them, and I look at them and I'm like, what is this? What's stuck in them? And here I had a cross stitch needle like threaded through, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. Another day there was a piece of floss stuck on a dryer ball, and I'm like, why is that still stuck on there? And I go to pull it off, and it's like attached to the needle, which is embedded in the dryer ball. One other time I got in my car in the passenger seat, and there was a cross stitch needle. So I'm like, I really try to be better about keeping them contained, because I don't want anyone stepping on them and blaming me. But I don't know. I guess somehow you always end up with a lot of stray ones. And I bought one of those, it's like a tray that has styrofoam that you can fit like a bunch of colors of needles in. And so I think for the Santa kit, I'm going to use that and just keep a bunch of needles threaded, so as I need the colors in a section, I'll have them easily accessible. So I think the kit didn't come with, like, the modern Dimensions kits have all the floss on like a bar of going across with the color codes, and I think this one is too old to have that system, which I really, once I like understood it and incorporated it, it is a good way to use them, because you can just take out one piece at a time and not have to put them in bags or anything. I mean, the base tends to get a little tangled at times, but every so often I'll just kind of straighten that out and make peace with it. So I think that's about all I have. We're busy in our stitch group stitching the friendship sampler, which has been challenging. And some people have added some color to it. Now I wish I would have been one of them, but my thought is to look at it at the end, and if I just have to add, you know, some extra berries or flowers here and there, I think that's how I'll do it rather than trying to figure it out midstream. But it'll be cool to have had that many hands. I hope you're all doing well and that you continue to fill the world with love. And I think I'm hoping to come back with a video in a couple weeks rather than a month before summer gets really crazy and busy. So I didn't have a lot of stitching during the weeks where I was getting ready for the 2 showers. It was mostly cooking. So I think, you know, I'm kind of ready to just be able to spend more time on that kind of fun stuff. So anyways, this is the real ending. So thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate all the viewers and the nice comments. And if you haven't had your question answered in the comments, feel free to email me or message me on Instagram. Sometimes I'm more responsive there. Hate to say it, but yeah, but I truly would, you know, so many people have been kind in answering my questions over the years that I feel like if you have a question and want to know something, please let me know. So yeah, and as far as giving away the Rabbit and the Rose, you have to be 18. Hopefully be a subscriber and like the video. So I'll see you in a couple weeks. So enjoy these more. Oh, those gnats. Thank goodness there's a little bit of a breeze. But okay, now I'm ending it for good. So enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.